So, you know, the more MMA we can get under one roof, the UFC, the better. Real quick, we'll touch base with some of the fights that are going on tonight. You got Chris McRae's the first fight versus Rocha. McRae came out in the weigh-ins. He actually looked really drained, cheekbones sticking out. But then he came up and gave his stamped, savage response to the cameras and to the fans. So hopefully that fight will go okay. I mean, you're talking about a guy who did, I believe, like 5 or 6 fights in a couple weeks' time. I mean, this guy's got a heart on him, man. And the true heart of a champion is tested in ways like that. This guy, he kept getting knocked down and kept getting back up on that horse and just kept kicking ass. Whether or not he won the actual show or not, he definitely proved that he belongs somewhere seated in a UFC type position. Second on the card, we got Carlos Vamola against Seth Petrozelli. Petrozelli, I got to be honest, man, he wasn't my favorite years ago, especially like when he was on the Ultimate Fighter and whatnot. He's looking great. I mean, he's no longer this big, not chubby, but not this, heavyweight. He is solid. He's got muscle. He's got the 6-packs. He's looking great. And he is turning quickly into what I believe is a great fighter. Not to say that he wasn't an okay fighter back in the day, but I think he's really evolving as a fighter. Third on the card, this is a preliminary card. We got Rob Kimmons, Kyle Noak. Fourth is Nico Shipshak with versus Dwayne Ludwig. Ludwig, who had actually been slammed down in his last fight, and I don't know if anybody caught that, but he had his ankle snapped backwards. It was pretty gruesome, pretty disgusting, hardcore fight scene. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you YouTube it because it's pretty disgusting. I think it's probably one of the worst breaks I've ever seen in UFC. And then fifth, we've got Mark Scanlon against Pascual Kraus. And sixth, let's see here, we got Vladimir Matyshenko, the janitor, against Alexander Ferrara. Matyshenko, he just totally got dominated by John Jones. I mean, what is it that kid can't do? You know, John Jones, I would love to see him put up against some real hard competition. And to not to say that Matt Hamill and Brandon Vera aren't true competition. These are high tier type guys. But John Jones, and he's very humble about not wanting to be put in title contention right now, but this is a kid that definitely will be in title contention very shortly and can really make a real run at the title. I mean, the 205ers are just stacked. I mean, absolutely stacked. And the 205 belt is getting passed around like a 16-year-old drunk girl at a party. I mean, it can't hold on to an owner because this division is so stacked. I mean, you go back to just even, you got Chuck Liddell, you got Rampage, you got Forrest Griffin, you got Rashad Evans, you got Lyoto Machida, you got Shogun. And this is all within the last 2 years. I mean, that belt doesn't sit more than 1 or 2 fights with its owner, and then it's off and running, you know. So I think John Jones is going to make a real serious run, and I think he definitely will be a hard competitor. Especially, I would love to see a fight against John Jones and someone like Shogun. Shogun, for a while there, was, you know, becoming a little disappointing when he came from Pride. But he's getting back to his old Pride ways. I mean, this guy is just a killer. He's got killer instinct. He comes from shoot to box, and these guys are some tough guys. That's where the Axe Murderer came from, Anderson Silva, all these guys, these Brazilians, they are just hardcore guys, known for actually knocking each other out in practices. And this, I mean, these are just sparring sessions that are probably, in comparison to what a lot of other fighters train in, these are some knockdown, brawling type sparring sessions they had. You know, this is the information that I used to get back in the day when I was watching Pride and whatnot. And I'm sure the camp hasn't changed. I mean, they got some hardcore guys coming out of there. But anyways, enough about John Jones right now. Let's stick with the main event in the main fight going on now. So the main card begins with Goran Reljic and Krzysztof Slozinski. Goran Reljic, I mean, the kid's a great fighter. Never puts on a boring fight. It always goes out there, balls to the wall. You know, mid-tier fighter, but has the propensity to put on some really great shows, along with Krzysztof Sosinski. Personally, I think he's a dick. The Ultimate Fighter showed how big of a dick he was. Aside from that, though, he is a great fighter, so don't let me say something bad about a fighter and then you think that I don't think he's a good fighter just because he is a dick. Because you can be a dick and be a good fighter. Hence Chael Sonnen and a couple other guys, Tito Ortiz and so on. So that's going to be a barn burner. I think that fight is going to be an awesome fight. These two guys bring a lot of cards to the table and a lot of problems for each other to solve with a good brawl. Then you got Peter Sabata against Amir Sadallah, who was the Ultimate Fighter winner. Amir Sadallah looking better and better every time you see him fight. He's got his own little Thai little style that he does. I love those front kicks that are actually very underutilized in MMA today. It's kind of his trademark kick, where the front kick where he gets you out of his face. Peter Sabata, I think, I don't want to say anything bad about him, but I think Amir Sadallah will pull this victory off and you know, keep moving up to where he needs to be. After that, you got tough finalist Andre Winner against Dennis Seaver. Two hardcore fighters. I think this is going to be another barn burner, possibly fight of the night. These are two hardcore dudes that are just going to put it all on the line. Dennis Seaver is a go-getter. He doesn't give up easy, and same with Andre Winner. Then you got the co-main event, which I commented about earlier, Alessio Sakara and Jorge Rivera. You know, I think the guys kind of meet each other eye to eye as far as competition goes, and hopefully that'll turn into a great fight, and we'll see some good action out of there. And then the main event, Yushin Okami against Nate Marquardt. Going to be a great fight. You can't not put those two guys in the octagon with each other and not get a good fight. So I'm really excited about that. I watched the weigh-ins. Everybody's looking good. These fights promise to be pretty good. I mean, Yushin Okami, Nate Marquardt, the styles make fights, and I mean, what more could you say about it? Alessio did look a little drained, and you know, that might be cause for concern. I'd sure hate to see him get out there and gas, you know, late first, early second round. That's all I got to say about UFC 22. You know, and WEC was the other day, and I'm going to go ahead and post another video and discuss that. And I would like to actually post another video and we'll talk about UFC 123, which is my favorite, man. Quentin Rampage Jackson against the Dragon, Lyoto Machida, man. What a great friggin' fight. I mean, you cannot put together a better fight than that. I mean, Lyoto Machida coming off that brutal knockout from Shogun Rua. And, you know, when Lyoto had gotten the belt and Joe Rogan had said, "Welcome to the Machida era," there was a reason for that. Lyoto Machida is top A+ grade level fighter, and it surprised the hell out of me to see him get knocked out like that. And but I did side with everybody who said that Shogun did win that first match. So I would love to see Lyoto get back in the mix, get back up there. I think a lot of times when a fighter, especially gets knocked out like that, I think people tend to forget how great they were before that did happen. So Lyoto does have the possibility of getting right back up on that horse and taking that belt right back from Shogun. Assuming Shogun doesn't turn into the guy he used to be, he'd be a very hard guy to get to. And you know, Quentin Rampage talked a lot about getting a fight with Shogun. Also, they had some wars back in the day in Pride too. Another thing I'd like to do is plug a few websites. For a lot of people, they don't know where to find these fights at. FullContactZone.com. It's FCZ.com. They got a lot of great torrents on there. Then you got the PirateBay.com. And then my personal favorite is Over Top Rope Torrents. So I'll hit you back up with a new video coming soon. Bonzones out. UFC real fans, keep it real.